What's up, and welcome in to Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Thanks so much for downloading the podcast and checking us out on YouTube, youtube.com. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing and sharing and commenting on all our videos, our shorts, and our long form conversations. It's because of you that this channel continues to grow. It's because of you that our podcast numbers continue to grow. So thank you so much for supporting everything we do on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood, as we're presented by Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. Oh, God. Yes, and exactly right. Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. Start your journey. Register for classes. Apply for a home loan. You can also find a home. Search for a grant. It's all there. Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. NHSchicago.org is where you go for Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. Great people there. Just tell them Jay Hood sent you. Get out of that loft. Get out of that apartment. It's time for you to start planting roots in 2026. That's why you go to Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. Well, you know why we're here. We're here because it's Monday, so that means it's time for J Hood and Cousin Wiley. And of course, you can pick up the merchandise for our show, whether it's t-shirts or mugs or hats. J Hood and Cousin Wiley's there. Good old Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. There's always the trucker hat, and there's the t-shirts for the ladies. And of course, because it is pretty chilly in a lot of places in this country, the United States, and across North America, I suggest to get yourself a hoodie. The Under the Hood hoodie, make sure that you represent the show that you support, the show that you subscribe to, t-shirts as well. It's all there. Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Make sure that you click the description of the podcast, and it's right there in the link tree. You go there. It doesn't cost you anything to just click the link. For you just look around. A great gift for someone or for yourself. Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood merchandise available right now. We're going to hear from my crazy cousin, Cousin Wiley, in just a moment. The reason why that we do shows together is because, well, we get tired of texting one another about things that we like and don't like about sports. So that's why I said, Wiley, it's time for you to be able to have the platform to be able to say what you want to say, so that way we're not texting each other every day about every little thing in sports and everything else in between. So we should talk about what happened on Saturday. And if you missed our coverage, our Under the Hood post-game show, when we talked about the Bears in their overtime victory against the Packers, make sure you go back and just, I mean, it was hard for me to even talk and think about everything that happened. The Chicago Bears, for about 55 minutes, I was going to come out with a negative post-game show because I was thinking this. I was thinking to myself, well, there's the remote goes down. I was thinking to myself, I was saying, man, here's an opportunity for you to be able to really capture the moment if you're the Chicago Bears. You already lost to the Packers before. And so here's an opportunity for you to really capture the moment and say, it's Soldier Field, it's sold out. Bears fans are screaming just for the Bears to do something offensively. It was time for the Bears to be able to step up. And even late in the fourth quarter, down 16-7, you're thinking, will the Bears be able to pull out yet another comeback? And they did. So many factors in that game, and we'll break it down as we go through this podcast, but you watched it or you were there at Soldier Field. It was incredible. We've seen some miracle shit from the Chicago Bears a lot this season, but this one, it meant more because it was the most meaningful game for the Chicago Bears in a decade at Soldier Field. They've had regular season games, sure, they've had a lot, but this game meant more because you were trying to make sure you solidify yourself as a playoff team and to be able to take on a division opponent like the Green Bay Packers. A rivalry is one thing, sure, but you really want to be able to draw a line in the sand. And Caleb Williams to Jade Walker to so many others came through in a big way. So I just want to start off before we hear from my cousin Wiley about just some of the things that we saw here, because the headline that the Bears win, Packers lose is something I've seen before. I'm an 80s kid. So in the 1980s, the Packers didn't mean that much to me. I read about it, obviously, in books about the rivalry between the Bears and the Packers. And I'm like, okay, well, as an 80s kid, the Bears steamrolled the Packers on a regular basis. Mike Ditka's Bears are beating the crap out of the Packers. So the Packers were the nail and the Bears were the hammer during the 80s into the 90s. And so I didn't think much of it. But obviously, when the Packers start taking advantage for about 2 decades and knocking the Bears down, well, I mean, it's a real rivalry. It's about time for the Bears to be able to step up in class and compete with the Packers and be able to surpass the Packers in the NFC North. It's about time. But this headline right here, we've seen a lot. Bears win, Packers lose. So, I mean, I've seen that before, but it's just been a long time since we've seen a game like that at Soldier Field that meant so much and then provided the kind of drama throughout the game. The Bears have had so many come from behind victories this season, but none more incredible than that one when you think about it, right? I mean, you think about the matchup with Jordan Love against Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams went from Clark Kent for 3 quarters to Superman in the fourth in overtime. And then there's DJ Moore, one of the all around toughest players on this Bears team, bar none. That guy takes a beating, and he took the Bears to a victory for a game winner. And then there's like Jade Walker coming through out of nowhere, right? Jade Walker, who's been on this roster, I've seen every day on my depth chart. Just a guy that's in the locker room, that's part of the wide receiver core for the Bears. That dude walked on air for a touchdown. We saw Cairo Santos keeping the Bears in the game, which was improbable to win. There were unsung heroes like Josh Blackwell and Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift and the flexible Bears defense. It was bend, don't break or burst. It was a flexible defense for the Chicago Bears team. And so it was such an exciting moment because this Bears team has been the cardiac Bears. And now the Bears are going to go to another level. And now Ben Johnson and this coaching staff and this team are going to the playoffs. Can you believe this? Think about where we were 365 days ago, where this Bears team was garbage, where there was no accountability, where you were wondering how many players would even be left after the Eberflus regime that would still be with this Bears team. There was a lot of change, but then the change was better for this team for Ben Johnson. And so I believe that the Chicago Bears have an opportunity to do some damage in the playoffs as long as they continue to believe in each other. The camaraderie that I'm hearing in this locker room, hey, we see it just for glimpses, on social media, but just the belief, the confidence that this football team has, it's incredible. You can never count the Bears out. They're going to lose games, hopefully not in the playoffs, but you're going to lose games. But there's something to be said about resolve. The Chicago Bears showed so much resolve, and they've been doing it all season, where they look less than pedestrian offensively in the first, second, and third quarter. Like, where's the offense? How come we're not running the football? Why are we being too cute? All this stuff, right? But then they find a way in the fourth quarter to have the magic. Did you notice when the fourth quarter started, all of a sudden the energy started to pick up on the offense? Oh, shit, we're behind. We better start moving. Yeah. I love that. I would love that energy in the first, second, and third quarter. I'd love to see that. But in the fourth quarter and in the overtime, that energy was there. And the other thing, too, I want to point out is about this defense. If you've listened to me even for 1 minute on Cap and J Hood, the morning show I do with David Kaplan on ESPN 1000, many of you are here because of the morning show I do on ESPN Chicago. But I talk all the time about this defense and how the defense has to be able to make plays. When they had to with Montez Sweat, when they had to with Austin Booker, when they needed to, they were able to make plays. And it's a physical defense. I was talking to Cap about this during one of our commercial breaks because I recalled the Miami Dolphins in training camp in July was talking about how physical the Bears defense was. It's like, we're just here to scrimmage. We're not here to be able to get all that. And the Dolphins were kind of like tapping out, John Cena style, right? Like starting to tap out, saying that they didn't want to deal with all that physicality because it's just practice. But the Bears showed from the jump that they were a physical team. Every game we see a bottle popper. We see a massive hit, and such a massive hit that the Bears knocked Jordan Love out of the game. Not a dirty hit, just a physical hit that was worth 15 yards, but also changed the fortunes of the Green Bay Packers in a big way. Even Malik Willis, the backup quarterback, kind of a dinged up shoulder as well, but he had to stay in the game because the third string was Josh Jacobs, the running back for the Green Bay Packers. So they didn't have another quarterback if Willis couldn't go, but the Bears injured 2 quarterbacks. Willis had to just stay in there and just kind of just gut it out. But I'm just so impressed. I'm really impressed by the Chicago Bears because it doesn't matter the outside noise. It's what Bears fans believe. So I always say on this show, you got to get in the circle, right? You got to get in that C. And in the C, you know what we believe in the logo of the Chicago Bears is that this team is a playoff team and that they belong. That's when you get into the C. That's when you start believing, yeah, you belong. It's not about, well, how long can they stay in the playoffs and what's going they're there. Think about where it was a year ago when the Bears had no chance. And now the Bears have given themselves the opportunity to be able to be in the tournament. That's all I've ever asked for. Is for the Chicago Bears to be in the dance with an opportunity. I'd rather have this than talking about the draft. My friends from OurLadSports.com that always sends me draft stuff, they send it me my whole package into my email. And and so I'm used to opening that up in December, looking through the draft notes that they already have prepared for me before they get to the Senior Bowl. They already got all the notes ready for me. There you go, Jay Hood. You know your Bears suck, so here's your draft stuff you're going to need for the spring. I didn't even open it. Don't need it yet. Don't need it at all. And because I'm watching the Bears and we're enjoying Bears football. All right, we're going to hear from my crazy cousin Wiley coming up, but just again with this Chicago Bears team. What it comes down to is that a year ago, this team had no hope and there was no future until Ben Johnson comes in as a head coach for this football team, until Caleb Williams starts to come into his own as the quarterback for this football team, and for the belief to be there behind Ben Johnson, his coaching staff. It's all working in concert. Even the guy on the screen right now that I'm looking at, Ben Johnson, is not a complete product. He's not as a head coach. You saw that 4th and 1 play, ridiculous in the first quarter. Wanted to show everybody how smart he was instead of just lining up, getting a running back, get that first down, and get into the end zone. He precluded the Bears from getting into the end zone because he wanted to show how smart he was. He made the mistake. He admitted it was a mistake. But this is why, even along the way, with question marks about the defensive line and question marks about getting off the fast starts and the 100 plus yards of penalties that the Bears had against the Green Bay Packers, they still found a way. They still had guys that came through, special teams, defense, and offense. Individual players were able to make plays to help the Bears beat the Packers. Things we question, nothing wrong with questioning the team, but they still win. You can't take away the 11 wins they've had so far. And the playoffs, bro, I'll take this all day. Here from my cousin Wiley coming up. And don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and comment to our video here as we are in the afterglow. Oh, hon, pass me a water. We're in the afterglow of the Chicago Bears and their victory against the Green Bay Packers in overtime, one of the greatest games that I don't think we'll ever forget at Soldier Field. Ah, yes, the big game. Bears and Green Bay, and the Bears come out on top in overtime. So great to see the Bears be able to get this done at Soldier Field. So many fans that were happy, Bears fans, because it feels like even though you've had a successful season, you're able to get over that hump against Green Bay in the regular season. To talk more about this is my crazy cousin Wiley, with us here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Please like, share, subscribe, comment your thoughts about the Bears. First place Bears, because when we talked on Saturday, we were just talking about how terrific it was for the Bears to beat the Packers in overtime in a game that we'll never forget. But now it's official because the Steelers beat the Lions. It's the first time in the playoffs since 2020. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great because we got a ticket to the Winter Dance. We haven't had a ticket to the Winter Dance in, 5 years now? Ticket to the Winter Dance, and we're looking to dance as long as we can. So dance into February. That's the goal.
It is the goal. It definitely is the goal. I just want to be able to reflect with you just that game on Saturday. As I mentioned, coming in, we're in the afterglow. Okay, we got a little cigarette, we got a little water to just kind of refresh ourselves from a long night of Bears and Packers production. It was something, man, and just both teams injured, both teams hitting hard, both teams scuffling. They really want that win. Packers needed it, but the Bears needed it even more so. And so, just what are your reflections? Because we were in euphoria on Saturday, couldn't believe what we saw. Just some shocking shit, just all throughout that game.
So I guess I'll start negative. Um, I think over the past 3 games, I'm counting the first Packers game, I'm counting the Browns game, and obviously Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ben Johnson has struggled. I don't know if the pressure of the playoffs were getting to him, but he made some decisions, and his game plan just wasn't sound, generally speaking. And he got bailed out again. And hopefully going forward, whatever the stink of he had from coming in from Detroit and all the choke jobs they've had, hopefully he can get that out of his system, and he's gotten it out of his system because we're going to need uh, the great side of Ben Johnson when the playoffs come around, because we can't have our coach be a liability like the Shanahans when games are important, or the LaFleurs, or
Mm-hmm.
even the O'Connells when games are important. We're going to need our head coach to be elite, period. Not just elite during the regular season, not just elite in the games that are not as important, but elite in the biggest moments. And I feel like over the past 3 weeks, he's struggled, at least for at least 2.5 of those games, he's struggled. So hopefully we can get a better version of Ben Johnson going forward.
Well, let's talk about that, because just like a lot of fans expect for young players, first year players, second year players to play elite, coaches go through those struggles too. You know, for Ben Johnson on that first quarter play where the Bears could have been able to at least get a field goal, at least. But I think that they were rallying to be able to get a touchdown. For you on that fourth down play to be able to snap it to Monangai, who's 5 foot nothing, 100 and nothing, instead of like the 6 foot Caleb Williams who is, you know, athletic enough to be able to get the ball. If the snap goes awry, he could be able to reach up, go to the left, go to the right, to be able to get that ball. You know, a lot of these young coaches want to show you how smart they are, because he will say, "Well, I liked the game plan coming in, we just didn't execute it." No, you know what I would like more? Just for you to line up and get the first down. That's all. Wiley, you don't have to show how smart you are. Just because it's in the book doesn't mean you have to go to it. It's an option, but not an option when you know you've had your struggles in the first half scoring. So, you know, like you're trying to show up LaFleur. You know how you show up LaFleur? You beat them like they did in the end.
No, agree. And that's what I want to see more of. Like when you have a play, when you have an opportunity like that to score, run the ball or put the ball in Caleb's hands. All the cute stuff, it could have bit the Bears in the ass. I mean, fortunately, they were able to overcome, all the struggles in the end with a lot of luck and then some clutch play on both sides of the ball. But you need your head coach to be in it with you and not be a liability. And I felt like Ben Johnson was a liability for the most part on Saturday. He got out coached. Matt LaFleur was the better coach in that game. Hafley was the better coordinator in that game, and we paid $13 million a year for Ben Johnson to be elite. And I, granted, to your point, yeah, there is, rookies make rookie mistakes, but we also saw the Lions wet the bed 2 years in a row, in games they should have won. So we're going to need Ben Johnson not to be a bad weather in Chicago.
That all fair, 100% fair. In those scenarios, if you feel like you need to run the football, because we saw him hit the run game like 13, 14 times in a row in a game that we saw in the regular season. If you got to do that, you got to do that. And I'm sure that when he goes home at night, he goes, well, I failed. Did you win, hon? Yeah, we won, but I had to run the football 13, 14 consecutive times for us to win. Well, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the trick plays. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you win the football game, because when you take on stiffer talent, Cuzzo, you're going to have to line up and play at some point. And that's exactly what the Bears did in the fourth quarter and overtime. At some point, you don't have the trick plays. Is DeAndre Swift just being able to be just shifty enough to be able to get the first down? It's Monangai hitting hard. It's the tight ends getting open at the sticks for the first down. Some of the stuff is just not that difficult. But you make it difficult when you say, here's a crazy play. Watch this. They'll never see this coming. And then you fuck it up. It's kind of like, okay, just give me the first down. The fundamentals, right? We can show me the trick plays, how smart you are when you're up like 21. Like when you're up 14, 17 points late in the fourth quarter, you want to do something tricky, that's fine. But I just think that I've always felt this. The coaches that always want to be able to show you how smart they are really outdumb the room. The trick play guy, to me, it's just like, oh, we're not very good. You've seen this, Wiley, over the years where teams are just not good and just like, yeah, we got to do a trick on special teams. Yeah, we got to do that because we can't move the ball. Yeah, those are for last place teams. You don't have to do that when you're trying to win a ball game of this importance against the Packers. So just he's learning too, man. He's learning too. I know the Lions did a lot of that when he was the OC, but just like at some point, you just have to line up and play.
Yeah, but Vanilla is good. Vanilla is good at times, a lot of times. And
yeah,
to your point,
you would know.
Plays, yes. You just fill Vanilla with a lot of nuts.
That's one to grow on. That's good to know.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, like if you're struggling to move the ball, okay, trick play, fine. Trick play to get things going, fine. Mm-hmm. But when you're moving the ball at will, there's no point of a trick play. Just
there's no really need for it. Yeah. You just do what you can do if you're Caleb Williams. And again, I know that's all part of the package, but I totally understand this. By the way, we should be able to go through because of some of the things that happened late in that ball game. But first, let's make sure we give the flowers to Cairo Santos, the kicker. A 43-yard field goal from Cairo Santos with 1:59 remaining, and like a golfer, right? Knows how to go with the wind and be able to get those kicks. And I know people seem to push aside special teams. I don't agree with that. It's a third part of the game. As a third, unit that you really need to show production. And Cairo Santos was fantastic. No,
he was. Like he made the kicks he needed to make, and then when we needed him to, a nice onside kick, he had in his bag. He went in his bag and made the kick to put the Bears in position to recover the onside kick. And, without him, we don't win that game. Without him, we don't win that game at all. So hats off to Santos. We've been hard on him as fans throughout the year because of his leg. But, in Soldier Field in the playoffs in January, February, you're not going to kick many 60-yard field goals. So you need to have a guy who's reliable, can kick with the wind, and Santos has shown that he can do that. So hats off to Santos.
Romeo Doubs. I mean, we have to be able to talk about this, Cuzzo. The pressure, and I knew this coming into the game because I was saying this before the game. There's no pressure on the Bears. Blood pressure 120/80. It was fantastic. I didn't even flinch because I felt like the Bears could win the football game. And you could tell when Romeo Doubs bobbles that onside kick, it's like, oh, you're feeling the pressure, right? Like we're just trying to get the ball back. And Doubs somehow, some way, jagged that opportunity for the Packers. And that was amazing because it just now you even have more momentum.
No, it was. And Doubs looked like a little kid playing shortstop in a big moment, and he wasn't ready for it. Instead of him attacking the ball, he let the ball play him, and by letting the ball play him, he ended up not being able to corral the ball, and Blackwell recovered the muff, and Bears win.
It's crazy. So, but even more so than that. So now you have unsung heroes, right? Now you have Jahdae Walker, okay, number 20. Up there, like just running on air after he catches that touchdown, as if he's had that in his mind all his life. Like, I'm going to make a big play and I'm going to walk on air. I'm so happy for that young guy because the room is so talented offensively for the Bears. There's no room for Jahdae Walker to be in the offense. But when you have injuries like the Bears had, it's like, Jahdae, got to catch that ball, man. I'm glad it was him and Ezekias. So glad it was Jahdae Walker, man. Young hands, fresh hands, baby, virgin hands. Hadn't got a chance to be able to have that opportunity. Smooth Camé hands. He was right there, man. Boom, touchdown.
And he used to sleep on Caleb's couch, so I imagine he was catching a lot of balls. And
oh, wow, there's no reason for that.
And the Caleb man cave.
Presented by Neighborhood Housing Service of Chicago. Yes, nhschicago.org. That's right, folks. Proudly brought to you by nhschicago.org. I'm sure they are proud of that podcast and the thoughts from John A. Walker and Caleb Williams from Cousin Wiley. That's right, folks. That's what they signed up for. Lines like that. Balls, he said. And then watching that big play by the aforementioned Caleb Williams. Speaking of balls, how about the ball that he threw to DJ Moore into the end zone? An impossible play.
No, it was probably arguably the best pass I've seen him throw in a Bears uniform. So big moment, game on the line, and he just let it rip. Nice touch. So yeah, it was a clutch. It's a clutch throw, and what we've seen from Caleb, as much as we may want to be more consistent through the first 3 quarters, when the pressure's on, he doesn't crack, at all. So it's nice to have, as a Chicagoan, we grew up with guys like that. We came of age with elite stars like that. When the pressure was on, the Chicago Stars delivered, and the Bears having a quarterback that even when he's struggling or even when he's inconsistent, when it matters most, he finds a way to deliver. So great to have a guy like that.
Do you need your platform for the Bears defense? Would you like to talk about this Bears defense? Because if you ever are going to give the Bears defense flowers, it would be this game, this bend don't break defense for the Bears.
No, it was a Lovie Smith special from my guy Dennis Allen. It was, okay, we may give him a lot of yards, but we're going to keep your ass out of the end zone. And they did that. They did that for 4 quarters in overtime. So hats off to my guy Dennis Allen. Let me rewind. God bless Dennis Allen. God bless him. But like his game plans are sound. And I think with the Bears defense, at least the back seven starting to get healthy now, I'm going to expect, a lot of better performances from this unit. Obviously, Gardner Johnson is down, but Jalen Johnson should be healthier now. We got Tremaine Edmonds back. TJ Edwards is back. And then we have Nahshon Wright and the secondary all healthy. So we should start to see better performances from this unit and then, going into the playoffs. So hopefully, Dennis Allen continues this. But yeah, hats off to Dennis Allen and defense.
I will give them credit, the Bears defense, because I've been on them a lot. I will give them credit, Cuzzo, for being able to hold the Packers offense back. I thought that they had to readjust when Malik Willis comes out there, and because I just don't know how this happens. Like, Willis comes out there and he just runs over the Bears defense by getting first downs. I mean, he wasn't damaging, but he did have an opportunity to put the Packers in position with that touchdown he threw. So I'll give Willis that much credit. But I just want to be able to let people know that what happened in this Packers game may not happen in the San Francisco game or even the Detroit game, which doesn't really mean much anymore. I could actually see Tyson Bagent starting that last game against the Lions. I mean, you already clinched the playoffs. You might want to rest some guys here or there. That's going to be a conversation, by the way, to start the year on whether or not how much Caleb plays or if he plays at all. But I just want to give these numbers. And this is from Brad Biggs from the Chicago Tribune. He says that the Packers ran 19 plays inside the red zone. And that's a lot. If you run 19 plays in the red zone, Cuzzo, that means that would you score 50 points? I mean, that's a lot. They ran 70 offensive plays. So 27% of their snaps came in the red zone. That's a shit ton of opportunities to get into the end zone for a touchdown. So you think about this. The Packers' possessions netted 46, 70, 91, 62, 64, 53, and 43 yards. That's a lot of movement offensively. It's either Jordan Love and probably a lot of Malik Willis as well. And so you would think that if as many times as the Packers were knocking on the door and they couldn't get in, I mean, give the Bears credit, but also the Packers just failed. We talk about pressure, right? Pressure. you're Jordan Love or you're Malik Willis or you're the offense and you can't get in when you had possessions of like 91 and 62 and 40. I mean, that's a lot. That's like 19 plays inside the red zone, 70 offensive plays. So what I'm saying, Cuzzo, is that you're very fortunate that the Packers were not on the doorstep and getting in time and time again. And the Bears defense came up to play, and the Packers were held to field goals for the most part. In the playoffs, they ain't gonna be a thing. Because this is not even like the 06 Bears defense, let alone 85. So just be wary.
No, but this is the LaFleur and redacted Love operation. This is the second time this year they've lost the game where they did not punt in. Second time this year they did not punt in that game at all. Second time this year they lost the game they didn't punt in. So I think this says a lot more about how inept LaFleur and Love are when it comes to putting teams away. Because if, to your point, if you have 27% of your plays in the red zone and you come away with 9 points in the red zone, that's problematic. I mean, that says that you are, you're wetting the bed as a team and as an offense, and they've done that twice this year. So what can the Bears count on that in the playoffs? No.
But
I think the Bears were prepared for Love and therefore a mobile quarterback. And in a lot of ways, what the element that Willis provides is unique. And I think in a lot of ways, it's probably better for that offense. And the Bears were not ready for that. And even with the adjustments they made, they were able to keep it out of the end zone with the help of the win and things like that in the red zone. Mm-hmm. But he was able to move the ball at will and keep the offense off the field. So going forward, hopefully, I'm looking at the playoff teams. Hopefully, none of them have a backup quarterback that has that type of ability. But yeah, it's going to be a struggle if you can't get off the field and if the team is constantly in the red zone with 50+ yard drives every single possession.
I wonder when Dunze and Luther Burden are going to be back. I wonder if they're going to play in a San Francisco game.
Would be nice.
Yeah.
Would be nice. At least one of them.
I just like the idea that DJ Moore says, I've been very patient in this offense where I'm out of the circle. And I feel like he has been out of the circle. We've talked about this, Cuzzo. Like it's about Loveland, it's about Adunze, and it's about Burton. But two of those guys are down. Others have to step up. And DJ Moore has done more than his share to be able to help this offense. And so I'm just glad that he's getting the big plays. I'm happy for him because he could just be like the average wide receiver and bitch about it and be like, how come I'm not getting this offense? Why am I pushed out? I'm here to tell you, man, it'll be very difficult for the Chicago Bears to say, DJ Moore is expendable. I know we're not there yet in the offseason, but I'm just saying, like, every time you see DJ Moore do the job, whether it's blocking downfield, making the big catch like he did, actually more than one catch. He had several big catches in that game, especially late in the fourth quarter, and that big one, that bomb that Caleb Williams threw. It'd be very difficult to say, DJ Moore, yeah, we can find you on the scrap heap. There's very few, by the way, at the wide receiver spot that are proud that would be like that would say, yeah, I'll do a lot of blocking and eventually I'll get the ball, because the wide receiver wants the ball and they want to be able to make plays and run routes. DJ Moore is doing it all. I don't know if you have as many selfless guys like him on the scrap heap just waiting to be on the Bears next year.
No, and he plays hurt. And he's the most reliable player on offense outside of Caleb over the past couple of years. So he shows up, whether he's feeling well, whether he's injured, he shows up and he is mostly productive when he's on the field. So, I don't think they're going to look to trade him. I think he's too important to the team going into next year. Maybe the year after that they figure something out because Burton and Loveland and all the other guys have developed. But I think he's too important to what they're doing going forward to get rid of him. I think Oz is definitely gone. I think Ja'Day Walker is going to take his spot next year. But, yeah, I think you're going to find a way to keep Moore in the mix going forward because he's a leader of the team and he's too important to what they're doing right now to get rid of.
It was close though, Cuzzo. Think about it. We were talking about these games in which DJ Moore didn't have any receptions or didn't have much of an impact. I'm just saying, like but now with DJ Moore in this mix, it's hard to part from a guy like that because if it's more than just a Packer game. Because I know that in your mind, as you hear me talk, all you know is Bears win, Packers lose. That's all you've been thinking about all day. But
that's it.
It's more than that though. Because for me, it's good to have a veteran and an old head in the room like a DJ Moore. There's value to that.
It is. There's a lot of value, especially when you have a young core. You need some guys who knows how to be a pro, who has experience on what it takes to prepare yourself day in and day out. And I think DJ Moore is a great example of what that looks like when it comes to making sure your body is ready, finding ways to play through the pain, and still showing up and doing, your job. And we've seen Bears teams that struggle with that. So having a guy like that in your offense to be an example for the young guys, I think is really important.
It's time for your platform, Cousin Wiley, for you to tell us now that San Francisco's in the playoffs and the Bears are in the playoffs. Makes me wonder what this game is going to be like. I have not seen the gambling line on this game just as of yet, but I mean, hey, going out to a place where it's been a house of horrors sometimes in San Francisco for the Chicago Bears. So please tell us about this game, Bears and 49ers. What do you think?
All right. Gather around, boys and girls. The Bears go into San Francisco on Sunday night to face the 49ers. San Francisco is one of the 5 teams that have an opportunity to get the number 1 seed if they win out and get some help along the way. And obviously the Bears are still playing for the number 1 seed, so beating the 49ers is important. So it was 3 nights after Christmas. Santa's gone. Leftovers are in the belly. And the 49ers are on the menu for dessert. The Bears passing offense will have a great day against the 49ers 22nd ranked pass defense. Caleb will go over 300 yards for the first time this season. Bears will win 33-27. Bear down.
33-27, huh, Cuzzo?
33-27.
How will the Bears score 33 points? UPS or carrier pigeon?
Well, it's going to be all the rainbows and with Caleb present and throwing all the deep balls in San Francisco. They're going to
presented by Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. That's right, folks. Looking for a home? NHSChicago.org is where you go. Neighborhood Housing Services Chicago, NHSChicago.org.
No, I think Caleb's going to have a great day in San Francisco. Weather's going to be perfect. Bears should have some of the weapons back. So the 49ers can't stop the pass. They had the Titans, I think, put up like 27 points against them. Yeah. I think the Bears are better than the Titans offensively. So I expect a big day from Caleb in his pursuit of 4,000 yards. He's still on pace to have 4,000 passing yards. So I expect a big day from the passing offense. And, for San Francisco's a great day to do it. So, and they're playing for something. They're playing for something. There's no pressure of the playoffs that's present, but they're still playing for the division. They're trying to be number 1 in the division. So a win will make them win the division with a win. And they're still playing for first place in the conference. So they need the 49ers to beat the Seahawks or the Panthers to beat the Seahawks to get first place in the division.
I mean, don't forget
in
the conference, yeah, and which is it's so topsy turvy. Like the one thing we know is like Seahawks at the top, the Rams are at the top for a long time. Bears got to get their footing and their positioning, that's for sure. But I mean, no matter who they play, they got to figure it out. That is for sure. And just, Ben Johnson said, play your best football in December, January. Well, coach your best football in December and January too, by the way, while you're at it.
Yes. Yes.
So a couple of things. One, we want to remind everybody that Wiley and I will be together after the Bears and 49ers game. We will have our post-game show live here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. So you'll get the instant reaction from us with our Bears coverage right here on the Under the Hood podcast. The other thing, too, before we talk about Christmas, Cuzzo, is you mentioned earlier in our podcast about Hafley, right, the defensive coordinator for Green Bay. Yeah, I think that you and I should start the petition to get him a head coaching job and get him out of the NFC North.
Yes.
Like that dude is about it, man. Like let me tell you something. That young man, I don't know what kind of head coach he's going to be, but as a DC, and people will easily say, well, you had Micah Parsons. Now, before Parsons came to the Packers, remember Parsons got here late from that trade from Dallas. It was already a top 5, top 6 defense. So you got to get Hafley out. Get him a head coaching job someplace else.
I mean, I think he will look good with the Titans right now. So young quarterback, rebuilding team, or he can even go to the Raiders. Great weather, they're going to have a great draft pick. They got a great tight end, a young running back, all the things he need to move the ball offensively. He has Crosby out there. So I think getting him a job in Las Vegas or in Tennessee will be perfect for him. But yeah, he doesn't need to be Green Bay.
Green Bay does not need him. Let him go someplace else. That's what we want, Cuzzo. Just someplace else. That would help tremendously for this Chicago Bears team. Just someone else with a crack at it, right?
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about Christmas, if you don't mind. And I know we still have in mind, yep, Bears win, Packers lose. That is the big headline here. But I want to talk to you about Christmas. So Christmas is, I think, in my family, your family, and our households in particular, that's very similar. What was the food of choice on Christmas in your house? And I think it might have been the same in mine. Because our family our family shared recipes, the moms and the grandmothers, they shared recipes. So we know Thanksgiving and what the main event is. But what about Christmas? What was the main event on Christmas food wise?
So we still had the same spread for both holidays. So there was really no change up from either holiday. One of the things that I enjoyed the most, I don't eat any at all now. We used to get a ham from Honey Baked Ham every holiday, but it was something about that ham was a little different than all the other hams I had eaten throughout the year. It was just better. So I enjoyed that. I was a chitlin guy. So I was a chitlin guy as a kid. Loved the chitlins.
So
loved, of course, put some hot sauce in that, Cuzzo. Oh my God, it used to be the greatest thing ever. Oh my God.
Chitlins.
But I still have a sweet tooth. So for me, it was always the pies and the cakes and the yams. That was fill my plate with those things. And I was happy. And I'm still the same way today. Just fill my plate up with the sweets, and I'm a happy man.
I still got the aftertaste of chitlins in my mouth from the 90s. It's just the most disgusting thing. If you've never had it, I'm sure a lot of our viewers have heard about it or have had it. It's the thing that just stinks the house up so bad. It's just so horrible. And listen, it's a long conversation you and I can have about how Black folks had to be able to get, the scraps and to be able to make a delicacy out of the scraps that was given, right? Back in the days of slavery, hell, it went into the 1900s with our great grandparents and our relatives that have passed on for generations. They had to be able to get the scraps and make it something. This is why rib tips are a thing. Right? This is why certain things that you think is commonplace today, we had to be able to eat those things. And of course, where our families both being from the from the South, they brought those delicacies up to the North, and some of that stuff was just not good. Just was terrible.
Oh, cuzzo, like I ate literally every part of pig you can imagine. Like it was, and and just and I was, maybe a little bit rebellious. So I would push back on the pig. Like I'm not eating this tonight. And you know how that was in the black household.
Yes.
If you don't eat this, you're not eating tonight. And I was
Yes.
like, you know what? I'm not eating it tonight because I'm not eating this at all. And but that was routine. Like whatever was pig was breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack because hog head cheese was part of the snack.
Really
Vienna
was like
sausage.
what a nice cracker. Let me tell you something.
Yeah,
A little hog head cheese, man. Didn't
yeah,
look great,
yeah.
congealed into like, but that was a thing. Yeah, for sure.
The Vienna sausages were part of snack. So yeah, we ate so much of the pig as kids, and it was mainly because you were dealing with family who were used to making sugar out of shit, and that's what they did. They made something out of nothing a lot, and those things were passed down from generation to generation. So we came of age, we fell into line like everyone else did, and now because we're somewhat stubborn and spoiled, we kind of went away from some of those things. But yeah, like the spread was the same in our household for Christmas and Thanksgiving, but for me, it was always the sweets. That's what I preferred. But if it wasn't the sweets, the chitlins, it was the honey baked hams, and the all those things.
Let me ask you about that ham. And ham is not. You'd be surprised. I'm not a ham guy. Just it's not. It's nothing I really think about. Like it back when we were kids, sure, but like now, I don't eat ham, and it's never anything that we order. And it's never on the plate. If we even go out to someone else's home, like I just don't deal with it. Did you stand in line at the honey baked ham place on Stony? So you had to
Yes.
stand in line for like I never did that. Like we got it from the Jules, we got it from the Dominics,
So
but
no, we
but I never stood in line. But and so to tell
next.
the audience, there was a long line, especially during the holidays, to get the freshest ham, right?
Yes, so it was right next to the White Hand Pantry on Stony. So you would stand in line, wrapped around the White Hand Pantry if necessary,
Yeah.
and you would wait your turn for them to get a ham that was glazed with honey and perfectly cut into the little spiral shape or whatever else. And then you would take that home. You would pay an arm and leg for it, but you would take it home and you put it on the table for the holidays and you would enjoy it. And they don't have it. It's not on Stony Island now, but they have one out in Orland. Like I'm not going to get one, but they have one out in Orland now. You can get your still honey baked hams. It's still going strong, but yeah, like it was a holiday staple for us.
Yeah, I'm sure again, as we have documented, when we have older people growing up in our family, like it's whatever that they learn. Still going through those cookbooks, like some of the best desserts, the best cakes came from an actual book. That was from I think I still have one in storage here from my mom, who you knew very well, because your mom and my mom would share recipes in these old books. It would be like you have a rubber band around them, or like some kind of tape, just to make sure that the pages stayed together so that they could flip through. But none of the pages would slip out now. They just made sure they were able. It's something about the older generation, man, where you had to be able to be on the ball, Wiley. You had to, because you didn't have the money to have someone fix things for you. You had to be on the ball. The idea that like our parents knew how to bind books to make sure that it would stay intact. Like it wasn't just tape. Sometimes they just like got like cardboard if they had to, just to make sure that the book would stay intact in the pages. It was just it's amazing. I look back at some of that stuff and just like, yeah, I just probably would have thrown away, or man, I just would have made copies. Like the
It
way they
is.
did I got old Bibles like that too. They just kept it intact to make sure that they would never lose a page of it. It's crazy.
It was the grit, the ingenuity, and they were. I mean, just resourceful in ways that we just take for granted. So, like, hats off to that generation, because I mean, they just what they experienced, one, and then the faith and the hope that they always projected through all those trials and tribulations, says a lot about them as people, and just says a lot about their faith in general, because a lot of us will crack quickly
Yeah.
under similar circumstances, and they were not willing to crack. They were crackheads, but they were not going to crack themselves.
We did not have crackheads in our bed.
No, I said they were willing to crack heads. They were
Yeah.
going to crack
Yes.
other people's heads. Yeah, but they were going to crack themselves. No, yeah.
Yes. No.
No,
No.
we drink. No crackheads, we drink. We just drink.
Yes, if you shake our family tree, there's plenty of bottles that'll fall out of the limbs. That is for sure. There's plenty of bottles that'll fall from the sky if you shake our family tree. That's for sure. Now we're a family of drinkers. Absolutely,
Yes.
and also the holiday parties. Now, from what I can recall, it wasn't like the day of, like on a Thanksgiving or Christmas, but like a day afterwards. Oh man, that was the thing, man. Day afterwards, man, the cooler of Budweiser or Old Style, Falstaff, like all Coors, it'd be in there, man. I just would just imagine, man, just putting in like 36 cans of beer in a cooler, and it's all gone at the end of a night. How's that? I mean, like, but it sonically just goes. And then, of course, it's your job or my job to be able to dump the cooler out into the onto the patio to get that ice in that water and get it out of there, right? It was just bananas. The way that our family went hard. They worked hard, but played harder, kind of like what we do now. Like, but not to the extent that they were doing it back then. We had some rough customers growing up, did we not?
Yeah, it was. You learned before you knew how to count. You knew how to play cards. Before you could before you can open a can, you understood how to drink. Because it was around. It was alcohol, cards,
A lot of cigars or pipe smoke or cigar smoke. I recall that.
cigarette smoke filled the air.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of that in our family, man. That's so much fun though, to watch them. And we're just kids at the time, right? We're just watching all
Yeah,
this like, oh, this is how you live, I guess.
yeah, soaking it up. A lot of jewels were passed down though. There were a lot. Like I said, sometimes we're spoiled in a lot of ways, but there were a lot of great examples, great lessons. So I'm sure we're both appreciative in many ways for a lot of those lessons, even if we didn't understand them in the moment. We grew to be appreciative of the lessons.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so not abusive as much as it is just fun watching how they were able to have so much fun in their lives, working hard, sometimes 6, 7 days a week. But boy, afterwards, time to crack open a can. And by the way, you learned the value of money during that time too, as a young person, because every can had to go into the trash bag. Every can had value. Crush it up
Yes,
and put it in the bag because at some point we're going to cash those in and get money from it just to start all over again.
yes,
Just to drink
absolutely.
again. Don't you realize that a bag of crushed cans get you another 12 pack or another 24 pack for the next Saturday?
All in the same week.
It's just great, man. It's just our family just is really amazing. And I know that there's probably some that can relate to that, man. But just it's a time for me, Wiley, to reflect on the good old days and like how they crawled through glass for us to be able to skip through, the prairie.
Yeah.
They went through all of it so we could be able to have the lives that we have today, which is pretty cool.
No, and I mean, hats off to them, because the sacrifices that were made, and what they were able to overcome in ways that we still take for granted. Like just hats off to them, because without, I mean, obviously, literally without them, there's no us. But
Right.
without their sacrifices, we couldn't have made the progresses that we've made, and hopefully, future generations continue to make. So, just hats off to them for just being just tough and resourceful and survivalists of the top levels. So yeah, just heads off to them.
Speaking of survival, you know what's surviving and thriving, and that is our merchandise. The Under the Hood merchandise is available right now. We got mugs, and we've got t-shirts, and we've got beanie hats, and we've got trucker hats, and of course, because it's been cold in the Midwest and the Northeast, and some places in the South, I've been seeing. We get older, you look at that Weather Channel a little bit closer. Been seeing that there's a need for Under the Hood. Bam, right there, a hoodie and a t-shirt. Make sure that you go to the bio and check out the merchandise. Wiley, it's starting to fly off the shelves. People call Captain J Hood, said thank you so much for the Captain J Hood hoodie. I did not expect that, by the way. Several people called in on Monday. It was like, yeah, I got my merchandise. I'm like, hey,
yeah,
thanks, appreciate it.
And that's really important to get yours. But if you're a gentleman and you have women in your life who or a woman in your life who you love, you understand they're thieves. They're going to steal your hoodie. So get them one. They'll still steal yours too, but get them one so they have their own and they'll have less of a reason to steal it. Get one for the entire family. Be warm in the winter months as you watch the Bears, matriculate to the Super Bowl and win. So yeah, get the family hoodies and go to work. Have your Under the Hood mug or tumbler so you can have your coffee, your tea, and in our family, like a little alcohol, a little spirit to get you going for the holiday season and for those rough months and of winter that you have to listen to your nagging boss or listen to your nagging kids or nagging spouse, whatever it may be. Little spirits will help you get through those moments. And it's best to have those spirits with another hood, mug, tumbler. And then obviously, if you're going to start working out in January, like all of us say we're going to do, and we're lying about it, you're going to want your Under the Hood water bottle. Take it to the gym, show it off. It will help you pretend like you're, exercising and getting in shape for the summer. But we all know how that ends. We stop at some point. But it's nice to have a water bottle as you're doing it. So get you another hood, stylish water bottle. And summer, put a little beer in there. It works.
Such warm sentiments from Cousin Wiley, letting you know that you're going to give up, folks. That's what he's telling you right now. But please get the merchandise anyway while you give up on life. That's what Cousin Wiley just told everyone. We appreciate that.
Wiley. Well, they can count on me. I won't bullshit them. They know. I'll tell them the truth.
Thank you so much for believing in our audience. That always remember, just keep quitting, but buy the merchandise. That's what Wiley just said. Just like give up on life, but do it while wearing Under the Hood merchandise. That's what
not life, not life, but the gym is. After a while, you go in there, you're like, this was a fun 2 weeks. That's fine. Okay. But you'll have your Under the Hood water bottle as you go into the gym. So they'll ask you, where'd you get that from? And you'll tell them.
That's right, folks. Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago. That's where you go. That's right. NHS Chicago. NHSChicago.org is where you go. Get that out of that loft. Get out of that apartment. Start planting roots by going to Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago, NHSChicago.org. All right. So Cuzzo, by the way, last thing. People, I don't know how much of the YouTube comments you've been reading over the last 48 hours. People want to know where'd you buy your Fuck Green Bay t-shirt? And that's a lot of people are asking that question based on the show we did on Saturday.
So I got it off. So a lot of the shirts I get, I got a guy who actually makes them. I guess I'll put that in the comments, some of the comments. But I got that one off of Etsy because I was looking for something, and I found that they shipped it pretty quickly. I think I got it like in a few days. Even during the holiday season, that's fast. So yeah, go to Etsy. I don't know who the seller was, but you can search Fuck Green Bay and you can find that shirt on there. But pretty much everything else I usually get someone else. They make it for me. So
yeah. What he's not telling you is that it's from an ex, and he's cut ties. So now, yeah, he does not have the contact for Etsy. So that's all right. Please leave in the comments. If you can go back into your phone, maybe you can find out who that was it smarting you up to Etsy. So maybe you could help our audience. Thank you very much for that.
I'll see what I can do.
It's unbelievable, folks. It's incredible. It's Cousin Wiley. It's just amazing. Merry Christmas, cousin. Love you. And I am overjoyed that we are able to do this in a controversial fashion at times. I always have to check the bank book, see if I have enough money when I'm getting fired here because of you. But either way, I think we're holding on very nicely. We're definitely growing the Under the Hood podcast.
Same thing, Cuzzo. Love you. Nothing but health and prosperity, and to end this year and obviously going into next year. And hopefully, like I said before, you're able to do this, because you choose to, obviously, for the next 30 plus years, because what you've done is what you do is enjoyable, and we're all better off because of it. So I appreciate you.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Yes, Wiley and I are Christmas guys, so we can say Merry Christmas. And also for the rest of you, happy holidays to you and your family. Happy Kwanzaa that starts on the 26th as well. Keep it locked. All right, don't pound the chest. I didn't say. Don't be pounding the chest. All right, put the fist down, please. We have mixed company watching the show. Please, don't intimidate the people. We appreciate everybody checking out Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Happy holidays to everybody, and just keep it locked. There's a lot more where this came from, especially with the Bears and the 49ers taking place on Sunday. Don't forget, we got our post-game show on Sunday as well. Make sure that you're with us for that. All right, for Cousin Wiley, this is Jonathan Hood. Thanks so much for checking out Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Happy holidays, and and also Wakanda forever. So long, everybody.